Stuart,
Yes.
would you talk about the proper way to utilize our
Proper way to utilize what?
our teachers, inner and outer teachers?
Well, it's got to begin with gratitude. It's got to begin with the fact that a teacher who really cares about you and wants you to grow spiritually is a very rare soul. You have to have gratitude. You have to have this sense of devotion. You have to have this sense of need that really makes you go so deep inside yourself that you use the teachings to get closer to God. I mean, a teacher's there to be, Rudy teaches a cow. If you don't milk the cow's going to scream into the night. If you don't milk me, if you don't milk people that are supposedly teachers, you understand all of that energy, that shock they're supposed to give off, it's going to back up inside them and create a lot of tension. So it's a marriage between student and teacher. The need of the student goes, Rudy always said a great student can turn a lousy teacher into a great teacher. That's really true. Gratitude. Being, and not just lip service gratitude, this whole, I'm grateful, but through your actions, what you do every day, how you're willing to support the teacher, how you're willing to do something to help a person who is doing so very much for you. And it's not only me, it's anyone, we have other teachers. But I really love what Rudy said. A great student can turn a lousy teacher into a great teacher. Their demand of receiving real teachings, understand, makes the teacher work on a deeper level inside himself. I mean, I need all of you. At the same time, if all of you weren't here, I would just let life do, all of life do the thing. But having you in my life really serves me in a very profound way. It truly makes me go to great depths inside myself, in order to have class like we had tonight. So as a marriage, it's probably the most important marriage on the earth, because the ultimate goal of this marriage for both student and teacher should be spiritual enlightenment. Teacher that just wants to control people and be a power thing and use, nice words to control other humans. It's all bullshit, It's all bullshit. It's not spiritual teachings. So that is what I suggest. The first thing is gratitude. And show gratitude, not by, I'm grateful, by your actions, what you do, what you can give, what you can receive, how much you can grow every day that you bring to the meditation class. It's, how many people have spiritual teachers? How many people have a church once a week? They go to synagogue once a week. But to have a teacher, a real teacher, like I had Rudy, he was there. I could go into his shop and meditate him at any time between 9 and he was there. If he was busy, I would sit and wait. When he stopped being busy, we always used to meditate with each other. And he told me many times, you've got to use the teacher. You have to go and demand from the teacher, ask the teacher deep questions that come deep, not intellectual questions and not logistical questions of, definitions of this. That's all nonsense. But questions that come from a place inside that the answer to that question will take you to another level in your life. Well, I don't know what else to say. I mean, but it's a sacred relationship having a teacher. And yes, I know when I was with Rudy, it was so hard sometimes. I maybe 10 times in a day, I would think of running away. It was so difficult. But I knew what he was doing. He was, demanding of me in a way where I had to stop being a young schmuck. I had to grow up. I had to solidify my commitment to God, to higher energy. And man, I can't tell you how many times I would think, what am I doing here? And then I came back for more, not masochistically, knowing I needed somebody who can break me down. I needed somebody in my life who was strong enough to break down my ego, my tension, my insecurities. And I needed to keep coming back because I was the only one I ever met who could do it. And then there's always the difficulties, you know? And then I used to think Rudy spent 13 years with Muktananda, and it was one of the hardest places in the world for him to go. And I've said it 1,000 times. I asked him, why? Why do you do that? I saw it with my own eyes. It's not like he told me this. I actually saw what used to go on. I said, Rudy, why do you do this? Why? He said, the only one I've ever met in the world who can break me down. And then one day he got broken down to the point where he didn't need it anymore. And he walked away from it. What I like about Rudy is he broke you down, but it was always with an open heart. It was always with caring about the student, caring that the student grows, that she becomes more closely connected to spirit. It was done with an open heart. It was rough sometimes, but it was always with an open heart. And it was always with this sense of love, this sense of caring about people. So what can I do? I cleaned bathrooms, I scraped fire escapes, I cleaned out lofts. Went up to Big Indian, would work an entire weekend after working all week, building fences and roofing things, and and I used to say it was not easy, but this is what he wants from me, so I will do it. He gave me my life, this man. How can I complain? I once had a guy come to me who also I practically gave him his life. And he said to me, he was really upset at me. He said, well, you made me drag this statue across New York City. So I said, so? I didn't make you do it. I asked you to do it. And he was all upset that I had did this to him. And never once did he think that after 8 years of studying with me, I took full responsibility for his karma, worked with him to help him to grow, to help him to mature inside himself. Got all upset. I asked him to bring a statue to my gallery. So gratitude is really the key to the whole thing. It opens the heart and enables you to get past all your insecurities and to recognize when a teacher really is there to serve you, to help you. And I'm telling you, look, I'm a lot older than most people here, and it's very hard to find that kind of situation. And one of the things that's been always a part of my life is I never have been in competition with anybody. I mean, people need to find their paths, and people would go, well, I'm doing Aikido, I'm doing karate, I'm going to church every Sunday. And it's all okay. It's all part of the process of growing. And I'm not here to ever tell people this is the only way. You got to find what works for you. And you can do many things. No, one shouldn't substitute one thing for another. But you can open to many ways of learning and growing in your life. Teachers, and yet there is a terrible thing in the world of spiritual teachers where they're in competition with each other. And I had that so many years, people in competition with me. I finally just said, I just had to get bigger than it, where it didn't matter anymore. Absolutely didn't matter. So it drove me crazy when I was younger. I didn't understand it, but it used to go on all the time. I always wondered why Rudy sent me to Texas. I found out after he passed on. I was far enough away from so much bullshit. And I really wasn't deep. I was affected by it, but not deeply affected by it. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. This is Jan.
Yes.
Is there a difference between using the mind to take, like you say, as a surgical instrument to take my thoughts to the navel chakra, or letting my mind just do its thing and just using awareness in the navel chakra? Is there a difference between that?
Look, the mind has a singular purpose, Sean. The mind is the most powerful energy inside every human being. If you bring the mind to the navel chakra and think about it and logically try to, you destroy every possibility of having a spiritual life. You understand? What was the second thing you said about?
Just, I've heard you at sometimes say like the mind does its thing, and then it's just awareness. It's not the mind, it's just being aware.
Not being aware, it's focusing the energy of the mind. You you take your hand, stick your hand out and focus your mind on your hand, you'll feel energy there. You're not aware of it, because then you start thinking about it. You just focus the energy there. It's the same way you bring the energy down below the navel. That energy is the most powerful energy inside you. It will open, it's like a surgical instrument. It will open the core of your being. As soon as you begin to become aware and think about it and logical, and what am I doing and what is the third child, it stops working. But just focusing the energy of mind. It's a tool, it's an amazing tool that we are all given. And most people never use. What it does is, the first thing that'll happen is you stop being so tense. Second thing that happens is you open your heart. And the mind, by being focused below the navel, grounds you. You get that chi, that power there. And when you open the heart, it can stay open. So it's not being aware, it's learning how to use the tools we're born with. Mind is one of them. Breath is another one. Will is another one. Need to grow is another one. Chakra system is another one. Gratitude is another one. Each of these energies can be used to open and develop the chakra system. So it's not just being aware, it's learning how to use the tools of the craft. Mastering the tools of the craft. That's what this meditation is all about, mastering the tools of the craft. Using them to build the system inside yourself that enables you to become a living manifestation of higher energy. It guides your life. Especially mind, because it's so powerful and it creates so much tension inside people.
Mm.
And you combine that with anger and fear and emotional stuff, and you combine that with sexual energy, you have the local insane asylum. We have to learn to master these things. And all this meditation is about is learning to master oneself. Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Good questions tonight. No question bothered. Does anybody else have a question they would like to ask? This isn't really for the class, but I'll do this, okay? I got a letter today. And this is something, and I think I would like to read it because I think it's very beautiful. Dear Stuart, thank you for your correspondence, especially your most recent letter. I was delayed in responding due to some mix-ups with my commissary orders for envelopes, and it allowed for some extra reflection which I am grateful for. I'm also not a Buddhist, but I've always perceived it as different from the religions I grew up around, in a good way. I appreciate its views and lack of dogma, judgment, punishment, etc. It has spread throughout the earth without lifting a hand towards violence. That is a remarkable feat. A lotus flower growing from muddy water is a perfect metaphor. You're right. Everyone deals with pain, sacrifice, and loss. They are inevitable. To be able to continue growing and especially bloom is a wonderful gift. I appreciate the aspects of loss I've had to deal with through the experience of coming to prison. This process strips away so many distractions and diversions, leaving you to make use of your naked humanity. I have found who I really am, or at least have begun to do so. Your letters always help to reinforce and point at this truth. Sometimes the best lessons are the most difficult ones, or at least appear to be difficult on their face. Behind the curtain is actually an opportunity to transform yourself and your life, or myself and my life, I should say. In the midst of the inherent difficulty of being in prison, I have found so many shining examples of the Spirit. I'm routinely placed in awe of the beauty of this mystery we call the universe. The Spirit is such an elaborate yet perfectly simple teacher. I am less than 5 months from release, and I'm grateful not only for my time here, but also for the opportunity to continue a life outside of these walls. Look forward to continuing my spiritual journey. Once I am out, I'm going to purchase both of your other books that you have referred to. Navigating the River of Time was a blessing, and your kind and thoughtful words more so. I hope this letter finds you happy and healthy. Thank you for your words of wisdom. With love and appreciation. I've never met this person, and it's extraordinary. I mean, a man sitting in a prison writes a letter like this. It's so moving and so touching. And it tells me that none of us ever have anything to complain about. I mean, this man, he copy of my book, Navigating in this prison. And his girlfriend, who's outside the prison, got in touch with me and wanted to know if he could write me. And this is the communication with him. And he feels so much gratitude coming from a person sitting in a prison. I mean, it's remarkable. Remarkable. It's something to teach all of us. Does anyone else have a question I'd like to ask? Okay, thank you all, and God bless you all. And there'll be meditation on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. See, Shakur, that's the gift that was given. I mean, really, came right out of somebody's heart. There'll be us on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Once again, God bless you all. Thank you. And I'll see you all on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.